She is surrounded by valuable video games. We're talking the Nintendo GameCube, because I have quite a bit of GameCube games. I was kind of reorganizing them and putting them in alphabetical order, and I thought, you know what? I got a lot to say about a lot of these games, so I thought I'd show them off. My GameCube collection. Now we got like 4 stacks of them here. I tried to keep it a little vague on what they are so you don't get anything spoiled, but you can probably see some names as I go through it. Whatever. We'll start showing some of the weird stuff that I have, just kind of miscellaneous stuff. I have 2 import games here. We got Luigi's Mansion and Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door, or Mario Story, or Paper Mario RPG, maybe it might be called, or Mario Story RPG. I think that's the first game. I just have these just because. I think I got this one. I got it on eBay for a good deal a long while ago, and then Luigi's Mansion I actually found at a convention, and I got it for a really good deal. I think I got it for like $5, and it was really tattered, that's why. But I don't mind. It's a cool thing to have. I got it for my girlfriend. She loves this game. I thought it was a neat little thing to have in our collection. Cool games. I wish Luigi's Mansion was in a bit better condition. Even Paper Mario is just a little scuffy. But as you probably have figured out so far in these videos, I'm not really big a stickler for condition unless it's something really particular. But, you know, these 2 games are a dime a dozen in a lot of ways, but they are important to me. That's why I wanted to get import versions of them. I really like the import boxes for GameCube games, these little things. They feel very appropriate for the GameCube's smaller disc size. I like these. I wish North American games were these sizes. But they did do something weird. I have this. This is the Game Boy Player disc, some random memory card. They put the Game Boy Player disc, the North American version of the Game Boy Player disc, in a Japanese case, which is weird. But yeah, I have a Game Boy Player. Like that thing. I got a lot of use out of it when I was like a teenager. I think I got it at GameStop for like $5 a long time ago. Now it's worth a lot of money. But yeah, those are some of the weirder GameCube stuff. I have like, I can't really show it, but I have a bunch of GameCube controllers too. Let's see, I can't really reach it from here. I have like every color GameCube controller. I have like the black, the silver, the spice orange, and a purple one. So I have like an array of GameCube controllers. I do really like the GameCube. It's one of my favorite systems. It was one that I really grew up with, so I try to get as much stuff for it as I can. It's a very primary system I end up playing a lot too, especially now when I have I've modified my GameCube, so I have like the little SD card with Swiss, which is like a homebrew software. And it's great. I can play ROM hacks, all sorts of stuff. GameCube's cool. But what about physical GameCube games? How many of these have I had since I was a kid? We'll find out. So the first one, in alphabetical order, is of course Animal Crossing. Animal Crossing Population Growing, as it was called, I guess. I love Animal Crossing. The original Animal Crossing has a very particular vibe that I really appreciate. I'm gonna zoom out a little bit here. Zoom, because I feel like I'm not getting the whole game in frame here. But yeah, the OG Animal Crossing has quite a vibe to it that I don't think has ever been, like, replicated before or after again. It's just got such a cool mood and everything. I love it. I love this game. It's a good one. It's definitely a GameCube classic, I think. It has Game Boy Color or Game Boy support. So it's just the game. There's no manual, but, you know. I don't even have the memory card. I used to have this game as a kid. My brother had this game, but I'm pretty sure. I don't remember if we rented it. I never played it, though. It was just, like, not my game to play. But I remember having it or seeing it as a kid, and I bought it later, and, you know, when I played Wild World was the first one that I really got into, so I went back and played this one. I've never gotten, like, substantially far in the GameCube game. I should one of these days, just kind of, like, you know, really go at it for, like, a few weeks or a month or two. But Animal Crossing is a classic. Of course it's a classic. And speaking of classics, a really cool kind of GameCube exclusive game, Billy Hatcher and the Giant Egg, which is actually made by Sonic Team, which is pretty cool. You can kind of tell by the art, it's definitely the Sonic artist. This is a very wacky platformer, very weird, very like in the same vein as something like Glover in a lot of ways, where it's just this very strange experimental idea for a platformer. Ooh, I love this this product registration little thing with Sonic. Look at that. Give them my information. But I actually don't have the manual, I just have that. This was actually gifted to me from a friend of ours. I was getting rid of all of her video games, and she just gave me a bunch of GameCube games, including Billy Hatcher and the Giant Egg. And I was warning her, I was like, you know, this game's worth a lot of money, I think, these days. And she's like, just take it, I don't care. I was like, okay. I love it to have it in my collection. It's a really cool, niche little game to have. And I have not played through it. A lot of these games, you might hear that a lot. I have not played through this game yet, but I have played a decent amount of it. I think like half of it at least, and I do really appreciate it. It'll get done one day, I'm sure. Here's a game I really don't know why I own: Crash Tag Team Racing, which is kind of the sequel to Crash Team Racing. I've tried it a few times, and I'm always mind blown when I start it up because it's like a platformer and it controls really well. It's made by the same guys who made Simpsons Hit and Run, which and you can kind of tell in the way it moves and stuff. It's just a really weird game. I don't think I've ever gotten far enough to really judge its racing game potential, but I have really never heard anything about this game, so I would assume it's not great. I don't remember where I got it. I surprisingly enough, this is a kind of a specific case where I don't remember. I probably got it. There used to be a retro game store. They used to do deals where it was like buy two, get one free if the game was under like 10 bucks or something. I used to use that deal all the time to get three games for 20 bucks. I did it like once a month. And this might have been one of those games that I just had to fill the buy two, get one free with. Game, Chibi Robo. I love Chibi Robo. I've had this game for a long time. It's one of the more valuable GameCube games these days. But when I got it, I think I got it for, actually, let's see here. I used to have the receipt in my game. Nope, no, it's not here. It's in one of the GameCube games. I have a receipt of a bunch of GameCube games I bought at GameStop back in like 2009, 2010, and I got this game for, I think, $4.99. I'm pretty sure it was $4.99. But nowadays, it's worth a shit ton of money. Just classic circumstance. I love this game, though. It's really good. It's really, really fucking good. It's really original, really unique. I love games where you're a tiny thing in a big place and it feels big, like a house or something, you know, stuff like that. Just a weird, wacky game. Cool as hell, though. Highly recommend. One of my favorite GameCube games, I think. It's just so unique. And we have Dance Dance Revolution Mario Mix. I definitely remember this being part of that buy two, get one free thing I was just talking about. It's a Mario game. I'm probably only bought it because I was like, well, I don't have this Mario game. And it's got a pretty iconic, like, pussy attack or whatever, you know, the one where he's, like, flying forward. It's got that iconic cover. I love the old renders of Mario and Luigi. What's with these, like, designs? Oh, these are the arrows. Duh. But yeah, it's a DDR game. That's just the disc in the case. I don't have the mat or anything, so I am D-padding it up when I play this game. But yeah, it's pretty easy DDR if I've heard correctly. You know, Mary Had a Little Lamb and Twinkle Twinkle Little Star probably in this game, but you know, it's cool. There's some cool Mario remixes in it. This game as well. This is Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles. Kind of a cool little thing about this game, well, and how I got this game. One of my friends was selling a bunch of their games, and he entrusted me to sell them all on eBay, and I was making a cut of it. And he gave me a good deal on some games that I was interested in, and I just took it off the amount that I would have made from him, yada yada, and this is one of them. I had been wanting this game for a while because I have, like, 3 link cables, actually. And I was like, oh, I really want to, like, you know, group up with my friends and try this game out, because I just think it's such a neat idea. I really like the art in it. The character designs are really charming. Special offer. Subscribe to Gay to get... Subscribe today to get the player's guide. I've tried it, like, with 2 people or with just myself, and it's not as super interesting. I feel like I need, like, a group, and we need to, like, really get into it one night to, like, you know, get the most out of this game. But I love the idea. I want to utilize those Game Boy link cables. And I have at least 4 Game Boy Advances. Just saying. I think I have 4. I think I have exactly 4. So, we should be good. As long as I think I need like a few more link cables, but I think I can play that game. Next one's a weird one. Fairly Odd Parents Break Into Rules. I'm sure some people on this channel know that I have a video about this game, because it is a weird one, to say the very least, for me. I have weird associated memories with this game. It's not very good, I will say. I've been meaning, a game that's been on my list and I've been like trying to track down a copy of, is the sequel to this game on GameCube, which I think is called Shadow Showdown or something like that. I've heard it's like a better version of this game. I'm so curious because when I was making that video, I replayed a lot of this game, and I just remember being like, wow, this is such like, I wish this game was better, because it's like, it is a Fairly OddParents platformer, and that is like really neat on paper, but it's not very good. It's very boring, is the best way to describe it. But I do like how authentically this cover is breaking the rules. I do remember getting this game, I think for $7.99. I remember getting this at GameStop way back in the day, and I think I've had it ever since. But yeah, cool game to own. I have a lot of licensed games, like Godzilla, Destroy All Monsters, Melee, you know, like Smash Bros. A Godzilla fighting game, there's a lot of these, and I have a lot of these actually. I don't know if this is the best one. I like this one because it's on GameCube, and I think it's cool to have, you know, a party Godzilla game on GameCube like this, and I've had it since I was a kid. I mean, me and my brother really liked Godzilla. My brother more than me, but he had a bunch of Godzilla games, including this one. I think there's a sequel to this game called Save the Earth. I think that one's better than this one. I think it has more content, but this one is pretty fun. And as long as I can play as my boy Mechagodzilla, I'm cool. These Godzilla games are neat. I feel like they're weird because they're American-made, and you know, Godzilla is a very Japanese property. Realizing this video is going to be long. It's only 10 minutes. We are just scratching the surface. I'll try to go a little faster. We have Billy and Mandy, The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, the game. I bought this within the last few years. I remember picking it up at a retro game store. They had it way underpriced. I think it was like $10, and I think the game is like 30 or 40 or something. And I was like, oh, I'm going to pick it up because I remember renting it back in the day. And I thought it was kind of neat, but I never got enough time to really appreciate it. I've played it since then, just like, you know, every once in a while I'll like be like, oh, how's this game? How is this game? I don't know, you know, what is it? It's okay. It's like, I feel like these kind of Power Stone-esque brawling fighting games just don't do it for me anymore. It's a cool idea though, and it works for Billy and Mandy. It's, you know, ridiculous and stupid and over the top, and it works in that way. I like how it has the Cartoon Network logo there and the Cartoon Network logo there, but yeah. Anyway, Billy and Mandy. Not bad. Kind of a cool thing to have in the very least, because I do really like Billy and Mandy. It's pretty, you know, big part of my childhood. We have Harvest Moon, A Wonderful Life. I also got this kind of recently. Within the last, when I say recently, I mean within the last like 3 or 4 years. Yeah, it's Harvest Moon. I've wanted to get into a Harvest Moon game so bad, but I've never been able to. I feel like I missed the boat on Harvest Moon, because I feel like if I played it as a kid, I would have been like Animal Crossing-esque obsessed with it, but I didn't. So trying to play them now is kind of like pulling teeth a little bit. And with games like Stardew Valley, which are just like better versions of Harvest Moon, it's hard to go back to these ones. This one particularly, I really want to like, because I really like it aesthetically, and I really like the vibe and everything and the music. But it's so slow. It is so slow. It's also very hard to understand, to know what to do. I feel like I'm wasting a lot of time in the game just trying to figure things out. So I should look up a guide sometime. This game's funny. Hello Kitty Roller Rescue. I picked this game up at Goodwill, or a thrift store, not Goodwill, I don't think. A thrift store sort of recently, within the last like year. And it was so weird because usually GameCube games are picked over like crazy. Like, you can't find a GameCube game in the wild, but the sticker was covering the GameCube logo, like the price sticker on like at the thrift store. Like basically the entire GameCube logo was covered, and I guess somebody would read Hello Kitty Roller Rescue and not think twice. But I just was like, I was interested because Hello Kitty's funny, and I thought, hey, a Hello Kitty game. I thought it was a Wii game, and I picked it up. I'm like, oh, that's a GameCube game. And I just was like, oh, I'm gonna pick it up because why not? You know, it's cute, a GameCube game. That's kind of neat. I've never seen it before. I had literally never seen this game before. And I was Googling it while I was walking around the store, and it was worth like $80 or something. And it was like $2 at the thrift store. So I was like, oh, hell yeah. I'm not gonna sell it because I think it's really cute. And I did actually play through it like that night that I got it. It's ridiculous. It is a character action game. It is an action Hello Kitty game. It is truly like a beat 'em up. It is very funny. It's wacky. It's weird. I love it. I'm glad I found it. I forgot I bought this game. I think I got it at convention. for a good deal, or maybe it was at a retro game store. I remember picking it up for a good deal. Again, all these games I get for good deals because I don't just buy them for the retail price they go for. The Hobbit, you know, the Lord of the Rings, the Hobbit video game. I bought this particularly because it is kind of a neat game. It's a weird kind of like Zelda-like sort of thing on the system, platformer kind of. But it's also, I watched a video about the breakdown of the speedrun of this game. It is an awesome video. I'm sure if you Google The Hobbit speedrun, I'm sure it'll come up. It was a great video, and it really got me like interested in at least having the game for some reason. I spent like, it was like a 2-hour video. It was super cool. I have not played it really on the GameCube since I got it. I haven't really had a chance to like sit down and try it, but it seems neat, and I like the idea of these kind of just weird ass fucking like license game that like really isn't based on a specific license. Like, you know, it's like the Lord of the Rings, like the movie, but it's like the Hobbit, like the story. It's just weird. It's weird. Okay, so this is a different one. This is, I showed this off in a different video, interactive multi-game demo disc. This is a demo disc kiosk thing you'd put into a kiosk at a GameStop or a Kmart or KB Toys, whatever the fuck. Wherever they had kiosks for GameCube games back in 2004. I particularly wanted Volume 18 because it has an early version of Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door, while it was still called Paper Mario 2, and it has like different music and different dialogue and everything. It's very cool. I'm so glad I found this. I got it for like $50 and kind of a steep price, but all things considered, that is a good deal for something so rare, and I don't see them come up on eBay very often, and I don't regret purchasing it. It was a good purchase at the time. We have Jimmy Neutron, Attack of the Twonkies. I picked this up at I have a funny story about this one too. I picked this up at a pawn shop down the street from me, and the guy was really cool there. He was, I ended up going in there, and he had a bunch of GameCube games, or a bunch, I should say, like a handful of GameCube games. And I was just like, oh, you have some GameCube games, can I look at those? And he's like, sure. He's like, all the good ones are picked over. And I was like, oh, that's fine. I'm interested in the weird stuff anyway. Like, you know, I have all the good stuff already. And I was just like looking through it, and he was like, oh, so are you a collector or like a reseller? And I was like, I'm a collector. And he's like, all right, then they're $5 each. I was like, oh, thank you. I was like, okay, I'm gonna grab this one. And it was $5, and I was like, hell yeah. It's just like, good deal. And it was just, he seemed to have an immediate like, oh, then for you, it's $5. I'm like, oh, that is really sweet. You know, I have a lot of disdain for the reselling business model and like, you know, the opportunist mindset that everyone has when it comes to video game collecting. So being kind of respected for the opposite feels kind of good. I won't lie. Just saying, I got a good deal out of it. Whatever. I actually tried to play this game recently, like the other day. It is really fucking good, actually. It is like a really, really authentic Jimmy Neutron game. It feels exactly like the show. Like the animation is spot on to the show. It's so strange. It's like you're playing a lower fidelity, like you're watching a lower fidelity version of like the show's like graphics, kind of. It's pretty cool. Otherwise, it's just kind of a generic sort of like platformer sort of kind of game. I can't really describe it. It's like a puzzle platform, not really a puzzle. I don't know. You know what kind of game it is if you start it up. It's a very licensed game kind of thing. Not a very structured game, just like mission to mission, A to B, do a few puzzles, fight a few guys kind of game. But you know what? I'm glad I own it. It seems really cool. It's definitely, I had a Jimmy Neutron game as a kid, like a one for the PC. It was fucking weird, and it was great. I loved it as a kid, but like, it was not a great video game, and definitely not a great representation of Jimmy Neutron. This is a good representation of Jimmy Neutron. I think if you were trying to get a game to like represent your love or nostalgia for this game, this would be it. This would be the one, right? So, yeah, Jimmy Neutron. Who would have thought? And then this last one for this pile, KO the Kangaroo Round 2, or I'm sorry, KO Round 2 the Kangaroo. I don't know why logos did that back then. This is a platformer, KO the Kangaroo. I'm sure maybe you've heard of it. It's pretty good. I hate the cover. The cover is terrible. It's a cute little platformer. It's definitely nothing special. It's definitely not as creative as like a Ty the Tasmanian Tiger. And it's definitely not as good as any big name one like, you know, like Mario or whatever. So it kind of just doesn't fall into any category beyond like, But I like the idea of a mascot platformer of this era. I feel like there weren't a lot of, like, you know, original mascot platformers at the time. You know, that era had kind of fallen off, so seeing that is kind of cool. This cover is just ridiculous. You do not, this is never happening in the game. It is a cutesy platformer. It never looks like this. I don't know. I don't even remember where I got this. It was probably part of one of those buy two get one free deals. I feel like I was always going for GameCube games when I used to do that at that store. But yeah, KO the Kangaroo. Interesting game for sure. Okay, we are on to the next pile. This one is one of the bigger piles, but a lot of these games are pretty, like, you know, classic GameCube games. So let's get started with Kirby Air Ride. I don't really have much to say about this game. It's fucking Kirby Air Ride. City Trial was a game mode that me and my friends played constantly as a kid. And it's one of my favorite games in the GameCube. I'm really glad I own this. I've had it since I was a kid, but I think I didn't have the case and manual, and at one point I was given the case and manual or something. It was like part of somebody I knew just gave it to me, so nice to have it complete. I used to have it in like a GameStop case for so long, I remember. We got Luigi's Mansion, a classic, GameCube classic. I do love this game quite a bit. One of the best GameCube games, I think, in my opinion, and quite a banger start to this system. They don't make them like Luigi's Mansion anymore. Like, you know, this is when Mario was truly, truly unique, and super cool game. If you haven't played this, even if you don't have a GameCube, just emulate this game around Halloween. It is such a good time. It's a nice 2, 3, 4 hour romp. It is a good game to play with some friends over Discord, get in the Halloween spirit, do a playthrough of Luigi's Mansion. That's what you should do this October. We got Wind Waker. I don't have a ton of opinions on the GameCube Zelda games. I do have, I don't even know where it is actually. I have disc-only Twilight Princess, but I think it's in like a little disc case thing. I don't have it over here. Wind Waker, I've never beaten Wind Waker. I get to a certain point and just kind of get really bored of it. I love it aesthetically. I love the ocean. I think it's really fun to explore. It's one of the more like intriguing Zelda games to me personally, especially 3D Zelda games, but it's just a little boring. It's sometimes a little boring, unfortunately. The dungeon design specifically gets a little boring for me. And now I have the Zelda Collector's Edition promotional disc, which was, I think, a pre-order bonus for Wind Waker. I picked up Wind Waker, you know, way after it came out in like 2010 or something. And I think I picked this game up too from GameStop at that time. And it's pretty cool. It's got like Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask and Zelda 1 and 2. Majora's Mask is borderline unplayable. It is so poorly optimized on this GameCube disc. It is quite incredible, actually. But yeah, not the way to play any of these games. Pretty cool little addition to, you know, Zelda, right? Like, I mean, if you pre-order a Zelda game and they give you like a free fucking like thing with it, like, this is pretty cool, pretty substantial. I don't really do this anymore, but I think it was a pre-order for Wind Waker, I think, and that would make sense, right? But yeah, it's a Zelda collection. Pretty cool. They should do that for the Switch one of these days. And I have this one, which is Zelda 2-game bonus disc. It is Zelda, it's like a preview disc kind of thing. It's Ocarina of Time and Master Quest, which had never been released before. I don't actually know where Master Quest came from. I think it is just this GameCube game. Like, it was on the GameCube. It was like a re-release of Ocarina of Time in Japan. This was disc only, and I think I printed this outer cover when I worked at the print shop. Yeah, you can see it's a little cut wrong. That's okay. You can see it's Mario Party 7, game only. But yeah, I think I got this from a friend, the disc only, so I don't really remember. I've never tried it, so maybe that'll be a fun way to play Majora or Ocarina one of these days. Honestly, I would never play Ocarina of Time, like, not on the PC these days, because that version is just so much better. So I don't know. Mario Kart Double Dash. What is there to say about Mario Kart Double Dash? I love Mario Kart Double Dash. It's one of my favorite Mario Karts. The co-op mode in Mario Kart Double Dash is probably the best mode Mario Kart's ever had, and I stand by that. All Cup co-op is the perfect little bite-sized, like, party game that you play with your friends. Group of 4 guys, you do two teams. Just a great time. One of the best party modes on a GameCube game, in my opinion. Speaking of party, I'm just going to group these together. We got Mario Party 4, 5, 6, and 7. These are mostly my girlfriends. She really likes Mario Party. I did not grow up with the GameCube Mario Parties. I grew up with the N64 Mario Parties, and I rented the GameCube Mario Parties, and I was always very disappointed in them. I always thought they were very lame. I particularly remember renting 5 and being pretty bummed because I had the demo disc for 5, and I just didn't really like it. I just remember thinking, even when I was a kid, I just thought, wow, I wish these aren't as good as the N64 ones. Nowadays, I've definitely warmed up to these games. I don't hate them, but I don't think they're as good as the N64 ones still. Just saying. I think they get a little complicated. They're just like, there's a little too much going on in some of these. 7's got, a lot of people stand by 7, but 7's got some interesting gimmicks to it. It's like, some of the boards are weird. I think Mario Party works best simple, in my opinion, especially because I play it so infrequently. You know, I play it like once a year, maybe sometimes, maybe a few times, maybe twice a year with friends. So to me, it's like if I'm playing Mario Party, I want that like Mario Party experience. I don't want just like a dice roll of nonsense of just like weird shit I have to learn on the fly. But a lot of people grew up with these games and played them constantly, so, you know, I can't blame them for liking them, just not ones that I grew up with, so, you know, have interesting opinions on them. I don't really have any differentiating opinions. I think 4 might be my favorite because it's the most like the N64 games. We have this gross-ass game, Mega Man X Command Mission. I do not like this game. I don't even know why I own it. Again, I think it was one of those buy 2, get 1 free things. I don't like the idea of this game as a whole, just this like tactical RPG kind of thing for Mega Man X. I don't know, it just doesn't really work for me. It's real bad, though. It's so fucking slow. It is just like one of the slowest RPGs ever. One of my friends stands by that this game is pretty damn good. I could not get through it. I could not get very far in it, I remember. It was just so painful. It was like pulling teeth sometimes. And speaking of Mega Man Network Transmission, another just like absurdly terrible Mega Man game for the GameCube. It has such good music, though. It has music by, was it Yosuke Yasue or something? He does a lot of like shmup music. The soundtrack in this game is unbelievably good. It's just like unbelievable. But the game is unbelievably bad. It's a platformer, actually. And it's weird and janky and not fun at all. Don't recommend. I'm sure there's fans of this game. As a Mega Man fan, this one kind of hurt. I don't know, not a fan. Uh-oh. It's a GameStop case. Uh-oh. It's Metroid Prime. Got it for $3.99 apparently. Yeah, it's just the disc. Unfortunately, one of my friends, I was like, he had lent me or something. I had his version of Metroid Prime and it had the case and manual and everything. And he ended up taking it back because, you know, he wanted his childhood Metroid Prime. Totally fine. I don't even know why I had it. But now I am left with the disc-only Metroid Prime with my GameStop case. Totally fine. I'll pick up the case and manual at some point in the future. But I do have this one, Metroid Prime 2 Echoes. Funny enough, I love Metroid Prime decently. I think it's a pretty good game. I like it. Not as good as the 2D games, but, you know, I do like that game. Did I just say love? I don't know. I like that game. It's pretty good. I've never touched Metroid Prime 2. I've had it forever. I must have gotten this game back in, I don't even know. I might have got it at GameStop back in the day for cheap. But I've never played it. I've never gotten it. I've never gotten to it. I've never even started it. Shameful video game moment for me. I've never even started this game, but I have it complete. I should really buckle down and play some of the Metroid Prime games before the 4th one comes out. I'm saying that about so many series right now, but I just am not doing it because I'm lazy. But you know what? Metroid Prime, cool game. Metroid Prime 2, probably also cool. Uh-oh. Shonen Jump's One Piece Grand Adventure. He looks like he should be holding something. This game is interesting. It's a, like, beat-em-up, kind of, sort of. And it's got some weird history to it. It's, like, a North American-made one, or it's a Japanese One Piece game, but this is, like, a North American exclusive version of it, where it has, like, extra content, but not all the content, because it would have spoiled some things in the anime that hadn't been aired yet. So it's this weird version of this game that is basically totally exclusive to North America, and exclusive on GameCube, I think. So, kind of a cool game to own. I do really like One Piece now. It's one of like my favorite mangas now. So having this kind of piece of like early One Piece 4Kids stuff, like Enel was never in the 4Kids show. and Vivi was at the very end of where they stopped. They basically stopped right after Alabasta. So we get characters that never even appeared in the 4Kids being dubbed and everything. It is interesting. As a game, it's fine. It's kind of a Power Stone-esque beat-em-up game. Honestly, I think it's better than the Billy and Mandy one. It's a little bit more like grounded. There's a little bit more weight to your hits and stuff. And you can play as Vivi, so like, you know, that makes it good. Just saying, I like Vivi. We got Pikmin, and I'll just pair these together. Pikmin 2, of course. Pikmin 2 is not the original case, unfortunately. It is... Oh, Jesus. It is printed, so... Right? Or no, wait. No, this is OG. This is original. Huh. I don't know where I got that from. I used to have a printed case for Pikmin 2, but I guess I got this at some point. I don't remember where. Anyway, I had a disc only for a little while, but lo and behold, now I have the case art. I don't remember how I got that. Pikmin 1 is a OG GameCube game I had as a kid. I have opinions on this game. I like it a lot, and I appreciate it a lot. It is, like, if someone told me this game is 10 out of 10, I believe them. It is not a 10 out of 10 game for me, unfortunately. It's just not my cup of tea. The kind of strategy elements of the game don't work for me when things are so random, like your Pikmin's behaviors are so random. It just gets frustrating. The time limit is, like, not bad, but it's just like, doesn't really add much for me. It just sort of like just makes it a little bit more stressful, makes it a little bit more frustrating. Not my type of game gameplay-wise, but I love it aesthetically, and I have really never touched 2. You know, 1, if I ever wanted to play 2, I really want to try to beat 1, but I get like to the cave level in 1, and I just have such a rough time with it. Maybe I'm not good, maybe I need practice or whatever, but you know, whatever. Pikmin 2 seems a little bit more up my alley, but I've never really given it a fair shot, so Pikmin is a series I will probably get into before I die, but I'm not dead yet, so eventually. I have 2 copies of Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door. I have a non-player's choice, non-bestseller, black label, OG version of the game because I'm crazy and I wanted it, and I don't remember how I got it. I'm trying to remember right now. I think my friend had it, and he gave it to me. He like donated it to me basically because I wanted the, you know, black label. But I think in the process he told me he would not send me the disc, but he sent me the disc anyway. So I have OG Thousand Year Door, and then I also have this is the original one I had as a kid, the bestseller, the player's choice, the whole kit and caboodle of plastered different colors all over it. I don't know if there's a difference in the disc versions of these games, but whatever. You might notice $3.99 at fucking this is a Savers sticker. My friend got it for $3.99 at Savers, so that's why he gave it to me. He found it and was like, "Oh, you gotta have the $3.99. Like, you can't beat that, you know, kind of thing." So I have I have a lot of copies of this game now, but I have these 2 copies of this game. I think it's funny that the Savers sticker's still on there, and I think it's cool to have 2 versions of this game. In general, it's probably my favorite game of all time, one of my favorite game of all time, so, you know, I think I appreciate having that. The preview disc thing, this has Sonic Adventure, DX, Splinter Cell, Beautiful Joe, and Billy Hatcher, and another game that's not listed on here. But, yeah, it's got a bunch of demos. Oh, there's a playable demo of Soul Calibur as well. Why wasn't that on the cover? I feel like that'd be a big deal. Oh well. I think these are really cheap, these preview discs. I feel like I've seen them. They probably came in magazines or they were given out at stores and stuff. They're not kiosk demo discs. They were given to customers. So, yeah, pretty neat though. It's cool to have. I think I got it for free actually when I used to work at that retro game store that I keep talking about. We'd get stuff like this and it didn't have a real SKU, like it kind of does, but it doesn't come up in our system, so we just couldn't sell it. So it was like, you can just take it, you know. We just took that kind of shit home. I have a few demo discs because of that. Maybe one day I'll do one of these demo disc videos. I got Resident Evil, and I guess I'll pair these two with Taylor. Resident Evil 4 as well. I have had Resident Evil 4 for a while. I'm bad at this. I'm blanking on where I got it. Probably the game deal thing I keep talking about, probably. This game I got kind of recently. I kind of overpaid for it. Remember, it was like very few circumstances I overpay for a video game. But I think it was at a retro game store. I was kind of just like itching to get something, you know. I just like wanted something. Maybe it was a buy two get one free deal or something. But I ended up spending like $30 or $40 in this game, which is definitely not what I should pay for it. But it was complete minty copy, player's choice. But I'm not a stickler for that stuff. One reason why I did get this is because I really do want to play it, and I haven't played it yet. That's probably happening this year because it's almost Halloween time. Never played the OG Resident Evil. I have it. I bought it. I spent money on it. It should be played. It's 2 discs. It's cool. Resident Evil 4 I played last year. Loved it to death. Thought it was great. Played Resident Evil 2. Thought it was great. So I'm kind of going back and playing them. So, all right. We are more than halfway. So hopefully everyone's chilling and having a chill old time. Hopefully my phone doesn't die before the end of this video. Didn't realize it was going to be this long, but whatever. We have Simpsons Hit and Run. Not a lot to be said about this game either. I've had it since I was a kid. I loved this game as a kid. We played it a ton. I'm realizing now, though, this is a funny instance of this game being mentioned. Me and my friend were talking about this recently, where it's like games like this don't hit as hard as they used to as a kid. Games where there was no objective, we just ran around and did whatever. I feel like I can't enjoy a game like that anymore. I used to be able to enjoy it so much, but these kind of like sandbox do-nothing games, they're harder and harder to enjoy, especially when they're not like fully freeform. Especially when they're not like, you know, like Minecraft or Garry's Mod. When I'm like restricted in this game's world, I can't just mess around anymore. For some reason, I've grown out of it, which sucks but it's a huge part of my childhood, and I love this game. It is really good, and I hope it gets remade. I feel like this is a prime example of a game that should be remastered. I'm surprised they haven't done that yet. All right, we got some of this franchise. Shadow the Hedgehog, of course. I picked this game up within the last few years. I didn't own it, so I was just going it. It's like, you know, pretty iconic video game, Sonic game. I think I don't even know how much I paid for it. I probably best offered somebody on eBay if I recall correctly. So probably got it for a good deal. It's Shadow the Hedgehog. Honestly, I'm sure it's worth money right now, considering the movie and everything. But is it complete? Did I buy the main? No, it's not. It's just the disc. That's probably why I got it for a good deal. But I'm not a stickler. Not my favorite game. I don't have a lot of opinions on it. I'm sure it's good for some people. If Sonic Riders... Is this in here? Yeah. It's in this really weird, like, you know, generic DVD case. But it is the original artwork, so... this was another game that when I was selling my friend's games he had, and he just like gave me for a ridiculously good deal. He charged me like $5 for it or something. So I was like, I didn't have Sonic Riders. If I was going to get Sonic Riders, I would have wanted the GameCube version because it feels like the version I would have played as a kid, but I didn't have this game as a kid. So I've tried it. It's okay. It's kind of hard to like try to keep up. Yeah, it's kind of hard to keep up with. It's kind of hard to understand when you're just jumping into it. But yeah, Sonic Riders. I'm sure a lot of Sonic Riders stands are going to be like, oh, why it's the best game on the GameCube. I don't know. Sonic Heroes. Sonic DX. Okay, I'm sure people know that I have opinions on this game because I made a video about it. It's the same copy I've had since I was a kid. You know, I'm not crazy about this game. I don't think it's all that bad. I think, like, you know, truthfully, I don't think it's like the worst Sonic game in the world. It's probably worse, but it is pretty lame and it's pretty like boring. And you know, there's a lot of design problems with it, especially compared to my precious Sonic Adventures 1 and 2. So you know, I got a lot of opinions, or a lot of conflicting opinions from commenters about that. My opinions on that game. So I've heard it all. I don't like it personally, but you can like it. Sonic Adventure DX Director's Cut. This is Sonic Adventure 1, a remake of it on the GameCube. It's not a very good remake of it, I'll be honest, but it's the version I played as a kid, and man, I fell in love with this game as a kid. I still love this game to this day. It fills me with some truly nostalgic feelings. Sort of 2003 era. Ugh. I love this game. You know, this is the same copy I've had since I was a kid, and I cherish this. I cherish this copy. When I was a kid, me and my brother both had Sonic Adventure 2, and I got Sonic Adventure 1 later, and it was like my copy, and it was like my game, and I was so happy that I had like my own game. This, like, you know, my brother didn't play this game. This was like my Sonic experience, and I love it. I fucking love that game. Sonic Adventure 1 is so good. I have Sonic Gems Collection, which is such a cool game. This is complete too. I've had this forever. Probably got it back in oof, I don't even know. I've had it forever. I've had it since like 2006 or something, whatever. I love this game too. It is really cool. The way that they bundle really weird Sonic games, the Gems collection. You know, you got Sonic CD, Sonic Fighters, and Sonic R. Just these strange games that normally wouldn't have been ported. And they need to do this more often. More companies need to do this. Good game. Sonic Gems. Cool game. What was I saying? Oh, they did that with... They were doing a Gems collection with Marvel vs. Capcom or something recently, or Capcom games. It was cool. Anyway, Sonic Adventure 2. This game is, like, super classic, right? I mean, like, everyone loves this game on GameCube. I have a lot of fond memories of this game. God damn. It's like... Oh, man. Yeah, where's the manual? I think this might be the original copy I had as a kid. Disc is very much used. Yeah, oh man, so many memories of Sonic Adventure 2. And I'm glad that this game has withstood the test of time in a way where it's just like, people love this game. And it's great. It's a good game. It's really fun. It's definitely the best 3D Sonic game. I don't think it's ever been topped. I think the way everything's structured is really fun. It's really exciting. The story is just so fun and so ridiculous. And as a kid, it was just everything I ever wanted. It was awesome. Just, oh man, so glad I grew up with that game. We have Soul Calibur, which is not in here. We just have the case and manual. I forgot that we only had the case and manual for this game until I just opened it. Yeah, it's a little danged up. I will get the disc eventually. I don't know why we just have the manual, and I think my girlfriend had it, but whatever. I will... Not much to say, because I haven't really played that game much, actually. Spider-Man 2. Another game that I got sort of recently for a really good deal at a store, like a thrift store or something. I just, you know, licensed games. I think I was just playing the Marvel Spider-Man one, and I was like, that, you know, for a few bucks, I was like, this seems cool. I've never really played it, though. I have played the OG Spider-Man game on PS1, just called Spider-Man. Not based on the movies or anything. And it was a pretty cute game. Not great, but it was good enough. I'll probably play this one day. I really haven't given it a shot, so... Oh, man. This game. SpongeBob Revenge of the Flying Dutchman. This game sucks. This game's just bad. Curses! Yeah, that's me at this game when I'm playing it. Yeah, I don't like this game. It's just pretty bad in general. Just a bad platformer. Bad license game. Really janky, really weird. Very nostalgic in a way, because I remember renting this game back in the day, and I had all these memories of this game. I didn't know what they were associated with until later. When I was like older, I was like, oh, they were this game. I do like the cover with this orange thing at the bottom. It's really striking. It's cool. I wish more Nickelodeon games did that. But yeah, that game is pretty mid compared to Battle for Bikini Bottom, a certified classic. You know, obviously, people love this game. It even got a remake. People love it so much. I had this game on PS2, but the disc is like beyond fucked up. Like, it is so scratched up. I've just overplayed this game so much as a kid. So I remember picking this up at a convention, actually. I remember haggling with the guy to get it for a good deal. And I think I got it for like 10 bucks or something. So not bad, you know, for a game from my childhood to be able to play again. And I played on a better system. I like the GameCube definitely more than the PS2. So I have SSX On Tour, another thrift store find, which I was really excited about because this is the one with the Mario characters, which I remember always wanting this as a kid because it looked ridiculous, and it is ridiculous. And I think it's really funny. I've messed around with it a little bit ever since I got it. I think I got it like a year ago or something. And, you know, it's SSX tricky. Or On Tour or whatever. It's an SSX game. They're fun. Not really my cup of tea, but I probably could see myself really enjoying this as a kid, especially with the Mario characters. That would have been just so interesting. So this game I don't love at all, actually. Star Fox Adventures. I have a lot of negative memories of this game. I played it as a kid, rented it, did not like it at all, thought it was really boring. And I remember trying it again when I was like a little older, like a teenager. And I remember just also being very like disappointed by it. Like, I wish I had liked it, and I kind of had heard like some sort of like, oh, cult sort of like status game, you know, some people really like this. But nah, it doesn't do it for me. Sorry, my cats are being very strange. I think they're bonding, but it's hard to tell. I can never tell if they're fighting or bonding at this point. But someone's gonna fall off the couch right now. Oh my god, these cats. Anyway, Star Fox Adventures. Not a great Zelda-like, not a great Star Fox game, so doesn't do much for me. Can't lie. Sorry, Star Fox Adventures. I really only like Star Fox 64. It's the only one I really like in that series. Anyway, Super Mario Sunshine. Another GameCube classic. Almost doesn't need an introduction. It is Super Mario Sunshine. It is a classic game. I love this game so much. So many fond memories of this game. Oh my god. One of the fondest on the GameCube for me. I love this game, still to this day. It is very janky and weird, and definitely not one of the better, like, you know, objective quality Mario games. But there are things in this game that no other Mario game has done since, and I think that's super special. It's a good game. It is totally worth playing. It is a classic for a reason. I'll pair these up together. Monkey Ball 1 and 2. I haven't had these since I was a kid, but I got them a long time ago, like, you know, quite a few years ago. These are great games. Monkey Ball is so good. I've come to really, really enjoy Monkey Ball as I've gotten older, and really appreciate them as video games. I guess this was owned by SES/Top, question mark, or SPS/Top. I have no idea. Just really cool arcade-style games. Aesthetically very good, mechanically very good. I love the back art of this game, is crazy. Yeah, some cool video games. Monkey Ball is a definite, you need to play this on the GameCube. They remade those games, but they're definitely still the best on the GameCube. Super Smash Bros. Melee, another just ridiculous classic GameCube game. Not much to say about Melee, you know. It's Melee. This is the original disc I've had. You can see it's been resurfaced quite a few times. You can see the resurfacing junk get in there. What's it called? I played this game a ton as a kid, and it's probably still my favorite Smash Bros. Game. Just memories and aesthetics alone, I think this one's my favorite. And mechanically, I really like this one. Not like a Melee head, I'm not like super great at the game, but it does feel really good to play. So, like, you know, when you know what you're doing, it's a very fun game. Another game from my childhood, Spyro Enter the Dragonfly. As a kid, I didn't really like it, so I can't imagine I'd like it now. I've never really tried to replay it, but this is the same copy I've had since I was a kid. Probably one of the least played GameCube games, you know, since I was a kid. I maybe popped it in a few times over the past, like, 15 years. Yeah, I don't know. What's there to say? It's pretty bad. It's like it's the Crash, what's it called? Was it Revenge of Cortex or whatever? It's that game, but with Spyro, but probably worse. It's very janky, very glitchy, just not a very good quality video game. Last little pile we got, we're on the home stretch, we got Tech and the Power of Juju. I got this recently as well, from a thrift store as well, for like a few dollars. Never played this game, but I was excited to grab it because, like, you know, whatever. Weird B platformer, always cool to have on the GameCube. They feel right on the GameCube for me. I feel like I've tried it, but I've just never gotten too into it. My friend swears by this game, but I like it aesthetically. I do not like the character designs, though. They're a little strange looking. I just don't like the way the eyes and the facial features look. Cool game, though. It's a cool idea that Nickelodeon basically funded a like their own video game series. It got made into a like abysmal dog shit cartoon as well. So yeah, that's fun. We have Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3. This was my girlfriend's, I think. I don't think this one's mine. I don't have a lot of memories of 3. I have a lot of memories of 4 because I remember playing it on a like computer at our school in like 3rd grade. It was like, for some reason, it probably came with the graphics card of the computer, like the model computer came with the game, which is funny to think now. But we used to always just like fight over who's playing it this time, and it was funny. But yeah, I don't really think I've played much of 3. I'm sure it's very similar to 2 and 4. They're all kind of good. I grew up with the original, the blue cartridge N64 one. That one, oh, so good. I'll pair these together as well. Ty 1 and Ty 2. I have a lot of fond memories of these games as a kid. I love these games to this day. I think they're really unique, really cool platformers. I love the idea of having boomerangs as your weapons. It's pretty unique. And the sequel is like this weird open world platformer thing with like a mission structure. It's very different. I've never really beaten the second one, but I've played them both a lot. I've beaten the first one, but I've played both of them plenty as a kid. But I think we only ever beat the first one, and I like, you know, have never gone back. I think this is the original copy I've had for many years. You know, I don't know when I probably picked it up back in like 2010. But this copy I've had for less time than that. I think I got this not recently, but you know, in the grand scheme of things, maybe recently. But yeah, I really haven't put the time into it, unfortunately. I don't know if that's like a pattern with some of these games, but a lot of these games I just, I've had for so long. But sometimes it's hard to find the time. Wallace and Gromit in Project Zoo. This is a Wallace and Gromit game I've had since who knows how long. When did this game come out? 2001? I've probably had it since 2003. Probably had it since 2003. It is a pretty shitty platformer, but it's interesting that there is a Wallace and Gromit game on the GameCube, and something about Gromit and his glossy little eyes are very strange. And this cover art, the exploding Mayan temple thing in the background, just weird game. It's like he has like a minigun. It's like, what are they trying to do here? What are they trying to do? I don't know. It's a novelty, I can say. I've tried it since, and it's pretty rough. It's a pretty rough game. Here's a classic Wario World. This is also not an original. Guys, God, my cats. This is not an original case in manual. No manual. This is a printed case that I printed myself. But I don't ever trust, like, when retro game stores do these printings, they just do it on like a shitty, shitty little ink printer. But I got mine at like done with a print shop, or when I worked at a print shop, I did it. So, yeah, it's a good game. Made by Treasure. It's very fun, very wacky and cartoony. I love that about it, and it's just cool to have a Wario exclusive action game on the GameCube. Just, you don't see that super often. So, and the last game on this list, we got Zapper, One Wicked Cricket. I don't have a ton to say about this game. It is cool because it is made by the guys that made the the Frogger games on PS1. It is basically a Frogger game, like those kind of mid-2000s platformer, sort of puzzle platformer Frogger games. And this is kind of like a sequel to it. I've tried it a few times, and it's interesting. It's an interesting game. My manual, I knew it. My manual for this game is fucked. Look at this thing. It's like, I can't even bend it. If I bend it, it's just snap in half. It is like water damaged to like the craziest degree. It is almost hilariously damaged. Oh, do I have a receipt in here? Oh no, it's the front of this manual. Okay, well, that's what happens with some of these old games. But yeah, Zapper, One Wicked Cricket, pretty funny game. But yeah, that's all my GameCube games. I have a lot of them, as you can clearly see. But I love the GameCube. It's genuinely one of my favorite systems ever. Here, let's scatter these around like I usually do. It is one of my favorite systems of all time. One of the fondest memories I have with a system. I like how I'm doing this right after I alphabetize them. Whatever. I'll only do it for a few. One of my favorite systems. I love this system so much. Yeah, if you like the GameCube, let me know what your favorite game is on GameCube, or your fondest memories, or how many GameCube games you own. I didn't even count. I'm not sure how many I own, but whatever. I have a lot of them. Anyway, goodbye. Until next time. Bye-bye.